සාදු සාදු සාදු. හොඳයි පන්සිල් සමාදන් වීමට නමස්කාරය කියන්නේ. නමෝ තස්ස
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranam gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhamman saranam gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhamman saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhamman saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Surāmeraya majjapamādattāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surāmeraya majjapamādattāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammang sādukang surakkhitāṃ kattvā appramādena sampādetabbang.
Amabante.
Samantā cakkavālesu atrā gaccantu devatā saddhammang munirājassa sunantu sagga mukkadaṃ parittassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā. Parittassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā. Parittassavana kālo ayaṃ bhadantā. Sadhu sadhu sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දිත්තිකෝ අකාලිකෝ පස්සිකෝ ප්‍රණයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතබ්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝ හේතේ සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ සාමීච පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුංගලා ඒස භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති ඝනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදං සිනාති ලෝකදීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි සමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාර යුත්තේන දූපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජා භාජන මුත්තමං වන්නගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං හේතං කුසුම සම්පතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං කුප්පං මිලායාති යතයි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං අනන්ත ඥානෝ විමලෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ ගුණාකරෝ පටිගන්නාතු භගවා දක්ඛිනෝ ලකමුත්තමං අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාතු මුත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සබ්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්නාතු මුත්තම වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේ සුපතිත්ථිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධිං බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදායස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සබ්බාරි විජයං අකාපත්තෝ සබ්බඤුතං සත්තා වන්දේ තං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාතේන පූජිතා අහං පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධි රාජා නමස්තුතේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා ගතං අච්ඡයං කමමේ භන්තේ ගෝරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා ගතං අච්ඡයං කමමේ ධම්ම සම්දිත්තික කාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා ගතං අච්ඡයං කමමේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්නානුත්තර නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස Evaං me sutaං ekaං samayang bhagavā Vāranasiyaṃ viharati sipatane migadāye tatra ko bhagavā pañcavaggiye bhikkhu āmantesi deme bhikkave antā pabbajitena nasevitamma yocayaṃ kāmesu kāmasu kallikānuyogo hino gammo potujjaniko anariyo anatta sanghito yocayaṃ atta kilamatānuyogo dukkho anariyo anatta sanghito ete te bhikkave ubhante anupagamma majjhima patipada tathāgatena abhisambuddhā cakkukarani ஞானkarani upasamāya viññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvaddati katamāca sā bhikkave majjhimā patipadā tathāgatena abhisambuddhā cakkukarani ඥානkarani upasamāya viññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvaddati ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo seyyati dang samma ditti samma sankappo samma vācā samma kammanto samma ajivo samma vāyamo samma sati samma samadhi ayaṃ ko sā bhikkave majjhima patipada tathāgatena abhisambuddhā cakkukarani ඥානkarani upasamāya viññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati daṅkopana bhikkave dukkhaṃ arya sacchaṃ jātipi dukkha jarāpi dukkha vyādipi dukkho maranampi dukkhaṃ appiyehi sampayogo dukkho piyehi vipayogo dukkho yam picchaṃ nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ saṅkettena pañcupadānakkhandhā dukkha idaṃ kopana bhikkave dukkha samudayam ariya sacchaṃ yāyaṃ tanhā pono bhavika nandira raga sahagatā tatra tatra binandini seyyati daṃ kāma tanhā bhava tanhā vibhava tanhā idaṃ kopana bhikkave dukkha nirodhaṃ ariya sacchaṃ yotassa eva tanhāya asesa virāga nirodho jāgo patinissaggo mutti anālayo idaṃ kopana bhikkave dukkha nirodhagāmini patipadā ariya sacchaṃ ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo seyyati daṃ samma ditti samma sankappo samma vācā samma kammanto samma ājivo samma vāyamo samma sati samma samadhi daṃ dukkhaṃ ariya sacchaṃ me bhikkave pubbē ananussute sudhamme ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං පරිඤ්ඤයන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං පරිඤ්ඤාතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි දං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහතබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහිනන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි ඉදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකාතබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදාරිය සච්ඡන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං භාවේ තබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං භාවිතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි ආවකී වංචමේ භික්ඛවේ ඉමේසු චතුසු අරිය සච්චේසු එවන්ති පරිවට්ටං ද්වාදසාකාරං යතා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං නසු විසුද්ධං අවෝසි නේවතාවාහං භික්ඛවේ සදේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරගේ සබ්‍රාහ්මකේ සස්සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනියා පජාය සදේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බෝධිං අභිසම්බුද්ධෝ පච්චඤ්ඤාසින් යතෝ චකෝ මේ භික්ඛවේ ඉමේසු චතුසු අරිය සච්චේසු එවන්ති පරිවට්ටං ද්වාදසාකාරං යතා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං සුවිසුද්ධං අහෝසි අතාහං භික්ඛවේ සදේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරකේ සබ්‍රාහ්මකේ සස්සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනියා පජාය සදේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බෝධිං අභිසම්බුද්ධෝ පච්චඤ්ඤාසින් ඥානං ච පනමේ දස්සනං උදපාදි අකුප්පාමේ චේතෝ විමුක්ති අයමන්ති මාජාති නාත්ති දානි පුනබ්බවෝති ධම්මෝච භගවා අත්තමනා පංච වග්ගියා භික්ඛු භගවතෝ පාසිතං අභිනන්දුන්ති මස්මින් ච පනවෙය්‍යා කරණස්මින් වඤ්ඤමානේ ආයස්මතෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤස්ස නිරජං වීතමලං ධම්මචක්ඛුං උදපාදි අංකෙන්ච සමුදය ධම්මං සබ්බන්තං නිරෝධ ධම්මන්ති පවද්දි තේච පන භගවතා ධම්මචක්ඛේ බුම්ම දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සා වේසුං වේතං භගවතා වාරාණසියං එසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මින් තී බුම්මානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා චාතුම් මහරජිකා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සා වේසුං ඒතං භගවතා වාරාණසියං එසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මින් තී චාතුම් මහරජිකානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා තාවතින්සා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සා වේසුං ඒතං භගවතා වාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මින් තී තාවතින්සානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා යාමා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සා වේසුං Etam bhagavata Varanasiyang Isipatane Migadaye Anuttaram Dhamma Chakkang Pavattitang
Appativattiyang
Samanena va Brahmanena va Devena va Marena va Brahmuna va Kena Shiva Lokasmin Yamanam Devanam
Saddam
Sutva Tusita Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Tusitanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Nimmana Rati Deva
Saddha Manusa
Vesum Nimmana Rati Nang Devanam Saddam Sutva Paranimmita Vasavatino Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum
Paranimmita
Vasavatti Nandevanam Saddam Sutva Brahma Parisajja Deva Saddha Manusa Brahma Parisajjanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Brahma Purohita Deva Saddha
Manusa
Brahma Purohitanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Maha Brahma Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Brahmanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Parittabha Deva Saddha Savesum Parittabhanam
Devanam
Saddam Sutva Appamana Bhadeva Saddha Manusa Vesum Appamana Bhanam Devanam Saddam
Sutva
Avasara Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Avasaranam Devanam Saddam
Sutva
Paritta Subha Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum
Paritta
Subhanang Devanang Saddam Sutva Appamana Subha Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Appamana
Subhanam Devanam Saddam Sutva
Subhakinnaka Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Subhakinnakanang Devanang
Saddam Sutva
Vehappala Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Vehappalanang
Devanam
Saddam Sutva Aviha Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Avihanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Atappa Deva
Saddha Manusa Vesum
Atappanam Devanam Saddam Sutva Sudassa Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum
Dassanam
Devanam Saddam Sutva Sudassi Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Sudassinam Devanam Saddam
Sutva
Akanittaka Deva Saddha Manusa Vesum Etang Bhagavata Varanasiyang
Isipatane Migadaye
Anuttaram Dhamma Chakkang Pavattitang Appativattiyang Samanena va Brahmanena va Devena va Marena va Brahmuna va Kena Shiva Lokasmin Tihatena Kanena Tena
Muhuntena
Yava Brahma Loka Saddho Abbukkanchi Ayancha Dasa Sahasi Loka Dhatu Sankampi
Sampakampi
Sampaveti Appamano Cha Ularo Obhaso Loke පාතුර හෝසි අතික්කම්ම දේවානං
දේවානුභාවන්තේ
අතකෝ භගවා උදානේසි අඤ්ඤාසි වතබෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ අඤ්ඤාසි වතබෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ තීතිදං ආයස්මතෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤස්ස කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ දේව නාමං අහෝසීති තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන
සබ්බ දුක්ඛං
විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ භයං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු සබ්බීතියෝ විවජ්ජන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මාතේ භවත්වන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා තාවතාච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා කාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ඉදම්මේ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හෝතු ච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝ ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුඤ්චතු සාදු 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 සම්බයන ධර්ම දේශනාව අපේ සම්මානන
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Venerable Chief Naika Handuru, Venerable Sir, friends and children in the Dhamma, let's share some Dhamma with you. When Prince Siddhartha renounced and became an ascetic, he was called the ascetic Gautama. After 7 days of his renunciation, he was found going on his alms round in the city of Magadha. Everybody was puzzled. It was a huge discussion among the people about this strange individual. He looks like a king. He looks like a divine being. He looks like a naga in the human form. Everybody was puzzled, and there was a huge discussion among them. Some people saying that he must be a divine being. He cannot be a human being. It was such a divine appearance in this ascetic Gautama. Even the king of the country, King Bimbisara, His Majesty was also got into this discussion, and he sent some people to go behind following this ascetic with the advice, if he eats his food after his alms round, he must be a human being. Then you should inform me. So it so happened, these messengers informed the king that he is taking his alms, taking his meal on such a place that you can go and see him. The king went to see him. Then he understood, then he got to know that he was his unseen friend, a prince who has renounced his kingdom, has become an ascetic for the sake of finding the solution for misery, the suffering. At the end of this discussion, the king wished him good luck to find his search, and made a request. Once you found what you search for, your first visit should make to this city. You should come here as your first visit after your enlightenment of your search. When the Buddha was enlightened, he remembered this promise. So he made a visit to this city of Magadha. When the king heard this, that the Gautama, the Buddha, is visiting him, he was so elated. He went ahead and welcomed the Buddha to the city. And he wanted to offer something. He wanted to make sure that the Buddha is permanently residing in his city. So he wanted to offer Buddha a monastery to reside. And he found this pleasure park, which is not in the middle of the city, but also not so far away from the city, situated near to the center of the city, but not in the middle of the city. It was such an ideal place, and it was called Veluvana, the bamboo tree forest. So he built the suitable lodgings for the Buddha and his community, and he offered this Veluvana monastery, bamboo tree monastery, to the Buddha. It was such a huge, such a grand occasion that all the elites, his ministers, the affluents, rich people, merchants, those millionaires, they all have gathered there. They all had gathered there to make this offering. The king was so happy. He fulfilled his promise. Now the Buddha is residing in his city. Such a joy, unimaginable joy in his heart. He went to sleep. But at that night, he could not sleep at all. As his eyes were closing, as the sleep is coming in, he was having this vision of skeleton-like ghosts, naked ghosts, skeleton-like, running after him, asking something from him. They were saying many things, but he can only hear these letters, do, sa, na, so. So as the king, whenever his eyes are closing and entering the sleep, he is having this vision. He was so scared, so fearful, he couldn't sleep at all. He was anxiously waiting until the dawn. In the early morning, he went to see the Buddha and explained to him what happened to him during the night on the previous day. He was scared if something wrong, whether there is something wrong he had done when this offering was made. The first ever temple offered to the Buddha. Buddha consoled this king. He said, you did nothing wrong. But you forgot something. You forgot your ancestors, your forefathers. For 7 generations of your ancestors were waiting for you. Were waiting for you to share merits with them, to share your joy, your happiness with them. You generated such a positive, bright energy in your heart, but you forgot to share with them. They came to you in your sleep to remind you of their presence, to remind you of them, asking you to share merits with them. That's what they did. Nothing to be fearful about. You better give a dana to the Sangha, then you can offer, then you can share your merits with them. The king did so. Next day there was a dana in the palace, and the king shared the merits with his ancestors. At night, in his sleep, again he had a dream, a vision. Those hungry looking, skeleton looking ghosts, now they are well fed, happy looking, but naked, no clothes. Then king again informed the Buddha about his vision. Then Buddha said, you are required to offer some clothes to the Sangha. Then we can dedicate that merits to your departed ones. The king did the same, and then he saw well clothed, well fed, happy, joyful of his ancestors in history. Now this was the beginning point of something so important, something so significant for us, that whenever we do something good, it is our responsibility. Something good means something beneficial for yourself and for somebody else. You do it with a pure heart. Whenever you do something good, it must touch your heart. It must be related to your heart, not to the mind. Mind is always filled with anger, hatred, greed, delusion, and all sorts of impurities. But your heart is pure. Whenever your heart is filled with love, compassion, and veneration, faithfulness, and based on these beautiful qualities, beautiful emotions, you do something, you share something, you do something good, and then you generate a certain happiness in your heart. I felt so loving and I shared my extra time. I volunteered myself and I became so happy. I share something with somebody who is in need. With compassion, and you feel so joyful in your heart, so blissful within you, in your being. And once you feel that bliss within you, that joy within you, you can visualize, you can project, you can think of your departed ones, the people who are no more with you, people who are out of touch, who are dead and gone. Think of them. If you can feel my thoughts, if you can receive, if you are in connection with me, if you are connected to me, may you be shared. May you also become joyful like I am joyful with this good deed. Now this is sharing. Now this sharing will never minimize your share of meritorious energy. This sharing will always enhance, develop, multiply your treasures of merits within you. Of course, in the material world, more you share, less you will have. That law will never never be applied to your inner treasures. Your inner spiritual treasures will be enhanced, developed, multiplied in 1,000 forms as you are sharing more and more. You can share with your departed ones, and also you can give the opportunity to share for your living relations, friends. Now this sharing for the departed ones, there are some illusions, some misunderstandings we have to clarify ourselves. When we share our merits with the departed ones, do you think all the departed ones can share our merits? That's a no. If somebody is to be born as a human being, that individual cannot share our merits. Example, we ourselves are the example. We don't have any connection with our previous relations, previous kith and kin. They must be still thinking of us, who knows. They may be still transferring merits to us, sharing merits with us. We never feel them. We never have any idea about that sharing. It means we have severed that connection. So also if somebody to be born as a divine being, that connection is lost. Somebody to be born as an animal, a bird, a fish. If somebody to be born in the hellish realm, If someone to be born in these realms that I mentioned, it means they are no more connected to you. They are not in relationship with you anymore. But if someone to be born in the particular ghost realm called Paradatupajivi in the Buddhist term, today it is popularly known as hungry ghost. We can call that poor ghost as the beggar in the invisible realm. The beggar in the invisible realm. If that departed one, for some unfortunate cause, is taken rebirth in that unfortunate realm, the beggar in the invisible realm, the invisible beggar, he has no power, he has no energy, he has no any capability to generate his own well-being. His well-being is solely depend upon your share of merits, your share of positive energy. So, whenever you do something good and feel genuinely happy in your heart, in your being, when your heart is filled with joy, you just share, you just radiate that joy to the space, directing your departed ones. If they are connected to you, naturally, because of that connection, this energy will be transferred to them. And that energy will energize them. That energy will strengthen them, give them bliss, give them joy, give them happiness, make them comfortable. But not forever. And your transferring of merits doesn't make sure that they leave their particular miserable existence and go to a new place, go to a better one. No, it won't happen. If we can do that, it is against the Buddha's teaching. Attahi attano nato. You are your own savior. If you have done some horrendous, some heinous, unwholesome deeds that drove you, that caused you to be born in such a miserable state, you have to be there until your karma is paid off. You have to be there. We cannot do anything in the notion of saving that person from that realm. No, we cannot do that. What we can do is, we can give some temporary solace, temporary joy, temporary happiness to that person to make his life in that existence little less miserable. That's all we can do. Until his time is over, until his time is served, he has to be there. We can give some gifts to make that time little less miserable, less suffering. That's all we can do. That's why our sharing of merits is not a reason for him to be permanently joyful, permanently happy. It is a temporary solution. Like a beggar in this realm, you see a beggar, a genuine beggar, you give a certain amount of money, let's say $100. Now this beggar, since he's a genuine one, for a certain brief period of time, he will not beg, he will buy his food or some clothes even, he will have a comfortable life for a period of time. But since he never earns anything, once that $100 is over, he starts begging again. His life is miserable again. This is the same example we can apply for the sharing of merits with our departed ones. If for unfortunate reason They have become the invisible beggars. We can give a temporary solution. Now there are divine beings, especially the divine beings related to the earth, Bhumma Deva, earthbound deities. It says those deities also can share our merits to enhance their divine energy, to the divine bliss. When we share merits with the divine beings, if they are around, they can share our merits. It doesn't mean that they can take rebirth in higher divine realms. No. It means for the temporary period of time, they have some more bright energy with them for them to have a pleasant abiding. That's all. So, sharing merits is not a permanent solution or upliftment for the ones who are suffering. It is a temporary donation to minimize their misery. We have to keep this in mind. Until their time is spent, they have to be there. They have to experience that misery. So in case, if our departed ones, aspiring to rejoice with our merits, yatha avari vaha pura paripurenti sagarang, as the rivers full of water flows and fill the ocean, may these merits in our hearts, which is overbrimming, which is overflowing, may flow unto them, and may their lives be filled with our merits. Eva meva ito dinnang petanang upakappati. And may your wish be fulfilled, may your aspirations be fulfilled, be quickly fulfilled, and may you be well and happy. This is our aspiration. This is what we chant when we are dedicating merits to our departed ones. It is out of compassion for them. They cannot be in touch with us. Sometimes they are so weak that they even cannot indicate that they need our help. Can you imagine such a state of destitute, such a state of misery? Can you imagine? While you are living, at least you can indicate you need help. But once you come into such a dejected state, what can you do? Sometimes they can come and show up in your dreams, or if they have little strength, they might jump into a body, jump into someone's body who has a very weak aura, and tell you the story, tell you about their misery. That's all they can do. Otherwise, they have to keep quiet, silently suffering, silently suffer. That's all they can do. So it is our duty, it is our responsibility, out of love, out of compassion, out of gratitude for all those people who were with us, supported us, helped us, for our upliftment, for our development, out of gratitude towards them. Whosoever needs our help, may the joy that arose in my heart be an assistance for you. May this joy become food for you, clothes for you, comfort for you. May you be well and happy. This should be our aspiration when we dedicate merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May these merits that you generate by listening to the Dhamma be pave the way for all of us to attain the final bliss of Nibbana. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Buddha Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvanno Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate.